Hi there, it's Caller on the Common Magician, and I've got something interesting to share with you. Just a really short video, and we're looking at a classic effect. It's not really an effect that I would really choose to talk about on this channel at all as a serious effect. It's kind of a children's book sort of magic trick. I think I learned it from a Michael Lamar VHS tape that was for children's magic, teaching kids how to do tricks. I think that's where I first saw this when I was a kid. And I never really did this seriously for anybody, but I was teaching a kids church youth group lesson just this past week. And in the curriculum, there was a little object lesson activity having to do with coins. And the idea that was in there was both lame and unreasonable, unrealistic. It wasn't going to work. It's clearly the people that made the curriculum had not tested out the experiment because it wasn't going to really work the way they intended, as can happen. So I thought, well, I'm going to do something different. So to do the illustration with a coin and get a coin in play and kind of have an object, a lesson, a theme related to locking a coin away, which related to the lesson that was going on. I thought this seemed like a good idea. So this old trick. Now, what I did, though, was different. Instead of just doing the trick, I actually turned it into a you do as I do. And as I thought about this, it made a lot of sense. So I got about 20 quarters. I had about 15, 20 kids. And I gave a quarter out for each one, and I gave every kid a piece of paper that was actually pre-folded, just as I needed, and I took mine up here. And I asked them to do as I do. I said, take the coin, go ahead and put it in the paper, right in the center like that, and then I want you to fold over and make sure you pinch the coin, hold tight to it, and then I want you to fold over again. Again, make sure you pinch it very, very tightly. Then we're going to fold down, and then we're going to fold up. And I want you to hold on tight to your coin inside. You can feel it in there. In fact, if you hold it up to the light or a light source here, you can kind of see it inside, right? And then I went over to a kid in the front row down in the corner, and I said, and you can feel it in there. And I'll explain that in a second. But I did this. I went through the lesson. Everybody's holding their coins. We finally get to the end. And then the big reveal, obviously, instead of making it disappear by opening up the paper, which is what you normally would do, it was better in the lesson where I just ripped the paper in half to demonstrate that the coin was gone. And that was the presentation. Of course, they're left with coins in theirs, and it's not gone, right? So I thought about this going into it. And the reason why I decided to do this with everybody with coins is that turning it into a you do as I do kind of experiment, it provides several things. It provides perfect misdirection because as I'm doing the folds, they're doing the folds, which means that I don't have to do any really clever sleights. I can steal it away in the basic classic way without, in a very secure way, without having to get really fancy with it. And the fact that they themselves are doing this gives me all the kind of misdirect in the world to get rid of the coin. Then it allowed me to create another tier where I could apply a different method, particularly the method of miscalling. So I can say you can feel it, you can hold it up to the light, you can see it inside. I'm just miscalling all of these experiences. And I even went over to one kid on the corner where no one could see, down in the front. No one can see what I'm doing. And I said, and you can feel it in there. And I put mine down. What no one could see is I put mine down next to theirs, and I pointed at theirs. And I said, and you can feel it in there, right? And then I bring mine up. Now, to the kid, it's a dual reality. To the child, they say, yes, I can feel mine in there, and they affirm that. To everybody else, the assumption is that they can feel my coin inside of my paper. Then I hold it there, and now I'm really, really way ahead, okay? Because not only did I ditch the coin, but I also created an environment where I could ditch it without being noticed, even if I'm just doing the basic sleights. And then I also have not only the miscall, but also a dual reality affirmation that the situation that I am miscalling is in fact true. But it was an interesting idea to take something that may be sort of subpar for the kind of magic that you may want to do, but finding clever ways to perform that kind of magic with those kind of methods with additional tiers that improve not only the performance but the experience. So taking something that might be very basic and transforming it into a you do as I do. That's one. Second, rely heavily on miscalling the state of things. A miscall is a very, very powerful technique that I think is very underused. So miscalling is very, very good, especially if you can do it in a convincing way. And then lastly, when you have a lot of people, try to find a way to get confirmation on your miscall by creating, if you can get one layer of dual reality where someone will apparently affirm what you are calling for the rest of the group, that can be very, very powerful as well. But anyway, just a little thought on a very old trick. I don't really know where this trick comes from. I've never really heard it sourced to anybody. I want to say it might be a Slidini or a Marlowe kind of thing. It's the origami paper vanish, coin vanish. And where I've seen it, it's never been sourced very well either. So I don't really know what it comes from, but it's a really easy little trick. I mean, just to cover it if you don't understand, it's quite simple. You have a piece of paper folded kind of tic-tac-toe like, and it should be squares that are just big enough for the coin that you're using. So you put the coin in the center. I find it's better to do it this way so the coin's facing out. You fold in one side, you fold in the other side, and then you get a grip on the bottom so you can drop. Obviously, don't drop it out of your hand, but you drop it into the hand, then you fold down on the top, fold up on the bottom, and then you're set. And of course, if you can do this in such a way where you can steal the coin maybe from the side, it's a little bit better. I did it really the lame way. I grabbed it right from the bottom and pushed up, but because of the misdirect that I had there and all of the other layers that I was putting in, I was able to get away with it. Even the adults that were in the room and watching, and they had no idea. They completely missed the moment. They bought it all the way to the end. Worked out very well. So, some ideas for you for the common magician. Good luck with that. Happy magicking.